A week before the wedding, my fiancé suddenly changed the wedding venue to the beach. His friends teased him. Just because Chloe likes the beach, you changed the wedding location and didn't even tell your fiancé. What if her family shows up at the wrong place? My fiancé replied nonchalantly, "It's fine. She loves me so much she even went blind for me. Is there anything she wouldn't listen to me about?" I stood at the door, silent for a long time, then pretended not to know anything and left. On the day of the wedding pickup, my fiancé arrived at the venue and anxiously called me. "Sarah, why aren't you here yet?" I looked at the snowflakes fluttering outside the window. "I've been here for a while." Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. The peak wedding was something I had decided on early on. It held special significance for Marcus and me, but I never expected that Marcus would change it just because Chloe said a single word. My hands trembled standing at the door, afraid to make a sound. Marcus's friend, David, frowned in confusion. "A wedding is for two people. You should at least tell Sarah, right? How else will she prepare?" Marcus waved his hand a little impatiently. "What's there to prepare? Glacier is so cold. The beach is much more comfortable. But for something as big as a wedding, not even telling her? Isn't that a bit disrespectful?" Marcus seemed a little annoyed. If she knew, she'd ask a million questions and probably throw a tantrum. Then I'd have to coax her. Too much trouble. Anyway, she loves me so much she'll definitely agree. She even went blind for me, so changing a wedding venue is nothing, right? Those nearby smirked. I know what Marcus is thinking. It's all for Chloe. After all, who could resist a beauty like her? Haha, we used to think you'd marry Chloe. She's so beautiful and from such a good family. Marcus' face darkened at the mention of it. Shut up. Don't let me hear that again. If you cause a scene, I'm done with all of you. Everyone laughed. All right. We won't say anything more. You're the man. Sarah is completely devoted to you anyway. Suddenly, Marcus's phone rang, displaying Chloe. Everyone smirked. The real future sister-in-law is here. Marcus didn't correct them, answering gently. Chloe's coquettish laughter came from the other end of the line. "Marcus, you really ordered that dress for me? I heard you have to book it half a year in advance." "Yeah, I specifically had someone airlift it from Milan. It'll be here next week." "But won't it be expensive?" "Only $500,000. If you like it, it's worth it." Chloe was deeply touched. "You're so good to me. I'll definitely wear it for you on the wedding day." Marcus smiled gently. "Okay, I'll be waiting." After I hung up, my friend started teasing me. "This is going to outshine the bride." "Marcus, are you marrying Sarah or Chloe?" Marcus smiled casually. "Sarah and I are an old married couple already. Anything she wears is fine. Chloe is different. She needs this dress more." I stood at the door, a bitter smile on my face. My wedding dress was bought in the local city. The day I tried it on, my eyesight hadn't recovered, so I asked Marcus to give a second opinion. Marcus saw me try on 3 different ones, then casually said dismissively, "They all look good. Just pick one. You can't even see the dress styles clearly anyway." He was in a hurry to pay, and the receipt showed $2,000. It turns out he could meticulously prepare surprises. Just wasn't for me. Chapter 2. On the way home, I was biting my lip hard, but tears still streamed uncontrollably. 5 years. For 5 whole years, I had naively believed he understood me. When I first said I wanted to have the wedding on Glacier, he smiled, ruffled my hair, and said, "Okay." In that moment, I was so moved. He remembered. He definitely remembered. Remembered that it was where we first met. Remembered that I had fallen and bled all over for him. Remembered me holding his hand tightly in the blizzard, saying, "Don't be afraid." But it turned out he didn't remember at all. Or rather, he never truly cared. Remembering the doctor's warning that emotional fluctuations would affect optic nerve recovery, I desperately tilted my head back, trying to force the tears away, but my throat was raw from weeping. Marcus called. The background noise was very loud. The music blared. "Sarah, David, and the others are throwing a bachelor party for me tonight. I won't be home." I paused for 2 seconds. Okay, they had been having this bachelor party for 3 days already. At 1 a.m., unable to sleep, I scrolled through my social media posts. David had posted a 9-grit picture on his social media with the caption, Brother's last of freedom. In the center photo, Chloe's cheeks were flushed, and she was drunkenly leaning against Marcus's chest, his hand gently resting on her waist. Many commented below, "What a perfect match. Pity. They're childhood sweethearts. Don't spread rumors at Marcus, your boundaries. Be careful. Sarah gets mad." Marcus replied below, "Sarah won't care. If she makes a fuss about something like this, then there's no point in getting married." I quietly liked the post, turned off my phone, and went to sleep. He was convinced I'd tolerate it just as I had tolerated the change of wedding venue, the $500,000 dress, and every instance of their just friends. But this time I didn't want to tolerate it anymore. I went to the hospital for a follow-up appointment alone. Last time I said, "Your vision fluctuated significantly. Someone needs to accompany you." Hearing the doctor's words, I smiled silently. I can manage by myself. It started pouring rain when I left the hospital. I saw two people sitting in the nearby coffee shop. Marcus was holding up his phone and Chloe was leaning on his shoulder, giving a peace sign. Both of them were taking a picture cheek to cheek. Chloe's bag was the new model Marcus had said he was preparing to give to a client last week. I scoffed, a self-deprecating smile on my face, and returned home through the heavy rain. When I came home, I was changing out of my soaked clothes. He looked up and froze. "Why are you so wet?" "Follow-up appointment." Marcus's expression stiffened. "Follow-up today?" I chuckled softly. "Yes, this is the third time I've reminded you." Marcus irritably ran his hand through his hair. "I've been too busy lately and forgot. Anyway, your vision has recovered, so missing one appointment won't matter." I looked at him quietly. The doctor said, "My optic nerve is still atrophying." Marcus choked, silent for a moment, then looked up again, a hint of displeasure in his eyes. "Are you trying to remind me again that you went blind for me? So, I shouldn't have brought it up." In his eyes, it had become me asking for credit. Seeing my silence, Marcus suddenly became angry and embarrassed. "There's that look again. I just forgot once. Why do you always get upset over small things?" I looked at his collar and said softly, "Blueberry jam from the coffee shop. It's on your collar." Marcus instinctively wiped his collar, then abruptly froze. I added calmly. "Chloe's bag is quite nice." Marcus's face flushed with anger, and he pointed at me furiously. "You tracked me? Is it really that serious?" She was just upset and wanted to chat. "Don't you know what her family situation is? She only has me, Sarah. Can't you be more magnanimous? It's meaningless to be so petty." I couldn't help but laugh. What a coincidence. When I had my follow-up appointment, I'd only had myself too. Marcus seemed to be stung and stammered. "She's different. You have someone who cares for you." Suddenly Marcus' phone rang. It was Chloe again. Marcus answered anxiously, and Chloe's sobbing voice came from the other end. "Marcus," I fell. "It hurts so much. Don't be afraid. I'm coming right over." He hung up the phone and pulled the door open. Suddenly remembering something, he looked back at me. "You should reflect on yourself. Tomorrow I'll go with you to the wedding favor shop. And in the future, don't track me anymore. It makes you look like a clown." Marcus left, but his words still echoed in my ears. A clown? He was absolutely right. It's just, why did it take me so long to see clearly? Seems I went blind a long time ago. Chapter 3. On the way to the wedding favor shop, the atmosphere in the car was extremely awkward. I put on my headphones and closed my eyes to rest. Marcus tapped his fingers on the steering wheel, restless and uneasy. The weather recently is really suitable for the beach. His gaze drifted my way. Seeing no reaction from me, he cleared his throat and raised his voice. "I heard Pacific Beach is really popular lately. Lots of celebrities are having their weddings there." I still didn't open my eyes, merely humming softly. Marcus frowned, his tone tinged with impatience. "Sarah, are you listening to me?" I opened my eyes slightly. "I am." So Marcus was instantly speechless. "Nothing, just making conversation." The wind blew gently through the window and I became a little more clear-headed. "Marcus, about the wedding, do you have anything to tell me?" I turned my face to him. This was the only time I would ask him, and it would be the last. He avoided my gaze, giving an awkward smile. "Just leave everything to you to arrange." I trust you. I lowered my eyes, my expression downcast. He was still acting. Even now, if he just admitted it, I might still. No, I wouldn't. I clenched my fists. So trust was meant to be squandered like this. Marcus gave a dry laugh. His eyes darted, feeling uneasy in his heart. She must know, but she's sulking. I'll coax her later. Inside the wedding favor shop, I saw the model for the pastries I had ordered. The peak pattern pastries looked particularly exquisite. Just as I was about to taste them, a familiar laugh came from behind me. Marcus, did you come to buy me pearl shortbread cookies? I frowned. Why was she here again? Chloe saw me and covered her mouth in surprise. Oh, Sarah, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you. Oh, are you picking out wedding favors? The pearl shortbread cookies here are super delicious. Marcus often brings me here. My fingers tightened slightly. He had brought her here many times while I only knew this shop had good products from my best friend. Chloe picked up a new item. Sarah, want to try this? It's perfect for eating by the beach, and it goes great with champagne. I took a small step back. No thanks. I've already picked mine. You two take your time. Chloe froze for a moment, then showed a wronged, innocent expression. Are you upset because I'm here? Then I'll just go. Marcus grabbed Chloe's wrist. Sarah didn't mean that. You don't have to leave. He turned to me, staring into my eyes. Sarah, Chloe is going to be your bridesmaid. Don't be so fierce. You'll scare her. I was slightly stunned. When was this decided? Shouldn't I be the one to choose my bridesmaids? I thought back. He could change the wedding venue without my consent. So what else did he need my permission for? I replied expressionlessly. This is just how I am. Whether you can stand it or not is up to you. Both of them were stunned, clearly not expecting me to be so serious. Chloe's eyes widened. Never mind. I'll just go. I don't want to be in your way. But I held her hand, changing it to an intertwined grip. Sarah, you're about to get married. Why are you still so childish? Ever since the wedding date was set, you keep making faces. Is this fun? Chloe quietly reminded him but moved closer to him. Marcus, don't be like that. Marcus seemed a little agitated. Don't try to persuade me. I've had enough. Sarah, go ahead and be dramatic. Don't blame me for not coaxing you and then crying your eyes out again in secret. The shop instantly fell silent, the staff awkwardly looking down. My heart sank into an ice cavern. So in his eyes, my blindness was just crying my eyes out because of jealousy. I had actually hoped he would remember the significance of the glacier wedding. How many times had Chloe used low blood sugar or headache as excuses to have Marcus accompany her? And each time, Marcus would immediately drop our plans to go take care of her. When I had a 102 degrees Fahrenheit fever, Marcus, needing to accompany Chloe shopping, only replied with, "Drink more hot water. I'll come see you later." But he never came at all. Whenever I complained, Marcus would tell me, "Why are you so unreasonable? Chloe really needs me." On our anniversary, Marcus promised to take me to see the glacier sunrise. I meticulously prepared an anniversary gift, but Marcus forgot again. It's just a date. Why are you so serious about it? Yet for Chloe's birthday, Marcus booked a restaurant and bought gifts a month in advance and even posted on social media. Happy birthday to the most important person in my life. Thinking of all the past events and looking at the current situation, I was tired. I should have given up sooner and left. As I turned to leave, Marcus only stared at my retreating back and said, "She must have pre-wedding jitters. Don't argue with someone who's sick." It was kind of him to even make an excuse for me. Through the glass window, he held Chloe's hand, feeding her pearl shortbread cookies. The two of them truly looked like a couple. That night, I received a voice message from Marcus. "Sarah, don't be angry anymore. I'm so busy with work and I have to take care of both of you. Can't you be more understanding? Soon we'll be husband and wife. I hope you'll be sensible." He was clearly a little tipsy, rambling on and on. I had no desire to listen anymore. He was the one who had it toughest. Then I would grant his wish and completely lighten his burden. Chapter 4. The day before the wedding. Marcus seemed unable to hold Dean any longer, and he called me. "Sarah, the wedding schedule. Have you confirmed everything?" I quietly hummed, packing my luggage for Glacier. "Yes, I've looked it all over. Marcus clearly let out a sigh of relief. That's good. That's good. Tomorrow I'll pick you up. The next day I put on my wedding gown. Not the one Marcus had chosen. The sound of a car came from outside and my phone rang. Marcus said urgently, "Sarah, Chloe sprained her ankle. I'm taking her to the hospital now. I won't make it to pick you up. You go to the wedding venue yourself first. It's just a formality anyway. I'll just go later." I replied calmly, "Okay." Marcus paused for a moment as if he sensed something off in my tone. "Are you not angry?" "No, you go do what you need to do." The call ended, and Marcus breathed a sigh of relief, turning to Chloe in the passenger seat. "Does it hurt? Just bear with it a little longer. We'll be at the hospital soon." Chloe's eyes were teary. "I'm sorry. It's all my fault. I delayed you from picking up your bride." Marcus soothed her, holding her hand. "Don't say that. You're injured. How could I not take care of you?" But in his heart, he felt a subtle unease, always feeling that my attitude was too calm. Maybe he understood and knew that I cared about her. "I'll cook for her properly during the honeymoon." At the Pacific Beach wedding venue, Marcus's family guests had arrived, but the bride's family and friends were nowhere to be seen. Marcus arrived with Chloe, and seeing the scene, his heart immediately panicked. No way. Sarah couldn't have missed the change of location, could she? He couldn't imagine that outcome. He dialed my number, but no one answered. He kept checking his watch, his face growing darker. Finally, my call connected. Marcus yelled anxiously, "Sarah, why aren't you here yet? The guests are all waiting." I looked at the snowflakes fluttering outside the window. "I've been here for a while." Chapter 5. The wedding march played in the church, and I was about to walk down the aisle. Marcus was stunned. "Where are you? Why don't I see you?" I held my phone and said softly, "Listen." The wedding anthem drifted out, mingled with the sound of the wind. Marcus stiffened, his voice trembling. You're on Glacier. Are you crazy? I already changed the location." I chuckled softly. "I know." Marcus was stunned. "What do you mean? You knew and you still went? Why are you so stubborn? This is a major life event for both of us, and you didn't even tell me in advance." "Did you tell me in advance when you changed the location?" Hearing my rebuttal, Marcus paused. "The beach is so romantic. I wanted to give you a surprise. Why don't you understand my efforts?" I smiled faintly. Someone was waiting for me in the distance. "I can't understand, and I don't need to anymore. I'm getting married. Goodbye." I hung up the phone and handed it to my best friend, Emma. Marcus kept calling, but it never connected. A suffocating pain tightened in his chest, and tears welled up uncontrollably. She's getting married. To whom? Marcus finally understood. This time I was truly angry. Mr. Henry and Mrs. Margaret walked forward, looking at him in confusion. "What's going on? Where's Sarah? Didn't you go to pick her up?" Marcus' tears welled up in his eyes, and he didn't know how to explain. David, who was a groomsman, suddenly understood. "I told you before not to go too far. But you didn't believe me for something as important as a wedding. You changed the venue and didn't even tell her. Now you can't blame her for not coming. I think I saw Sarah at a wedding dress shop with a man before, and I thought I was mistaken. Turns out she got married suddenly to someone else." Mr. Henry and Mrs. Margaret clearly understood. They angrily grabbed Marcus. "You're being ridiculous. Go get your wife back now." Marcus, with bloodshot eyes, grabbed Chloe's hand. "Chloe, come with me to Glacier now." Chloe pulled her hand back, feeling wronged. "But my foot still hurts." "And why are you going?" "She's already." Marcus shouted excitedly. "She's my bride. I won't allow her to marry someone else. You have to be there and explain clearly to her that there's nothing but friends between us." Chapter 6. Standing in front of me was my ophthalmologist, Daniel, who was also my senior from university. He was 2 years ahead of me and was a top student in the school's department. Later, he pursued higher education overseas, and we never saw each other again. Last year, after I went blind saving Marcus, I was sent to the hospital, and unexpectedly, he was my attending physician. "Sarah, do you remember me?" My vision was blurry at the time, and I didn't recognize his voice. "Doctor, do we know each other?" Daniel chuckled softly. "It's okay. We can get to know each other again now." During one follow-up appointment, I casually mentioned, "The hospital air conditioning is so cold." Daniel handed me a soft cashmere shawl. "You used to be afraid of the cold in college. You haven't changed." I was suddenly stunned. "How do you remember?" Daniel smiled without answering. Memories from college gradually surfaced, and I slowly began to recall Daniel's presence. I only remembered him as a good senior, kind and polite to others, and meticulously remembering the preferences of those around him. Daniel smiled faintly when he heard my evaluation of him. "That's for you, not for everyone." My face instantly flushed red, and I realized there was someone silently paying attention to me. I remember that time after an argument with Marcus. I cried my eyes out again, and my eyes became inflamed and infected. Everything around me plunged into darkness, and I broke down emotionally, unable to accept the outcome. I'll never see the glacier sunrise again. Daniel gently helped me change the dressing. "No, you will see it. And your first sunrise wasn't with Marcus. It was your sophomore year when you secretly climbed the mountain alone and almost got lost." I was shocked. "How do you know?" The tips of Daniel's ears flushed red because I was there that day too. It turned out he was afraid I would get lost alone, so he followed me the whole way without disturbing me, silently protecting me down the mountain. The feeling of being cherished and protected was truly wonderful. I understood Daniel's feelings, but the timing of our meeting wasn't right. "I'm getting married." When I gave him the wedding invitation, he seemed a little disappointed but still graciously congratulated me. "If you ever get tired, remember to look back. I'll always be here." That day, as I stood outside the karaoke bar and heard Marcus and his friends talking, I turned and called Daniel. "I've already booked the wedding venue. Do you want to try getting married?" Suddenly, Daniel seemed a little surprised. He sensed the impulsiveness in my voice. After a few seconds of silence, I sighed inwardly. "If not, then forget it." I was about to hang up when Daniel's hearty laugh came from the other end of the line. "I've liked you for 8 years. How is that getting married suddenly? Wait for me. I'm coming right over." Daniel recreated the ideal wedding I had mentioned in college. A starry sky, glacier, and the person I loved most. He even found the sunrise photos I took when I got lost that year and made them into an album for me. When the officiant asked if we were willing, Daniel gripped my hands, his gaze intense. "You once fought for someone else. From now on, let me protect you." I cried, weeping tears of genuine emotion. Chapter 7. Marcus arrived the next day. The guests had left, and Daniel and I were revisiting old places. His eyes were bloodshot, and he grabbed my arm, refusing to let go. "Why? Just because I changed the wedding venue? You don't want me anymore?" I replied faintly. "Maybe, maybe not. This didn't happen overnight." I was tired of getting to this point. Marcus pointed at Daniel resentfully. "What can he give you? We have 5 years of history. Even if you want to make me angry, you can't just suddenly marry a stranger." I looked calmly at him on the verge of collapse. "We've known each other for 8 years. He's not a stranger." Marcus took a step back. "So, you two were together all along. You cheated on me." I gave a helpless, bitter smile. "That's how he saw me. Didn't you say I was unreasonable? Your sensible Chloe is waiting behind you. Don't let her catch a cold or you'll feel bad again. This time, if she faints again, I won't donate blood to her anymore." Marcus stared blankly, then shook his head. "You're still sulking. It's because of Chloe, isn't it? I told you she's not having an easy time. I'm just being a little good to her. Why can't you understand my difficulties?" I immediately shook my head. "I understand. So I won't make things difficult for you anymore. By leaving you, I'm granting your wish." Marcus was stunned. "That's not what I want. What you want is for me to be magnanimous, to compromise, to fulfill your desire for having it both ways. But I refuse to sacrifice myself any longer. The man I want must be wholeheartedly devoted to me." I directly cut him off. Since we were breaking up, I wanted to make things clear. I didn't want you to be with someone else on my birthday. I didn't want you to be called away by a random phone call when I was sick and needed your care. I didn't want to be forced to stay at the hospital to donate blood for someone else when I was anemic. And then when I fainted, you said I was just putting on an act. With each sentence I spoke, Marcus's face grew a shade paler. He couldn't believe I had so many grievances. After thinking for a moment, he said with a hint of angry embarrassment, Since you didn't want it, why didn't you say so? If you didn't say anything, how was I supposed to know you were upset? I scoffed. Didn't I say anything? Didn't I make a fuss with you? Didn't you accuse me of being unreasonable? Marcus's face was ashen. Unable to refute, I stared at him. Do you still remember why I chose Glacier for the wedding? Marcus froze, then casually replied, just because the scenery is nice. But isn't the beach more romantic? I gave a cold laugh. You really don't know. You've never respected my choices, and there's no need for regret now. You should go. We should have ended things long ago. Marcus still stood there, unwilling to leave. But Chloe couldn't stand it anymore. The cold wind blew into her winter coat, and she shivered from the cold. Marcus, I feel so bad. As they went down the mountain, he kept looking back repeatedly at me. But Daniel and I chose to go up the mountain. Marcus stared blankly at my retreating back. It dawned on him then, and he remembered that the mountaintop was where we first met. He liked extreme challenges. Climbing snow-capped mountains, bungee jumping, skydiving. When I expressed my concerns and worries, he would always say, "What's there to be afraid of? I'm here." I always quietly helped him clean up his messes, preparing emergency kits in advance, planning routes, and understanding local medical and emergency conditions. I remember a year ago, Marcus and his friends planned to hike an undeveloped glacier. At the time, I tried to persuade him. The weather forecast said there's a blizzard tomorrow. It's too dangerous. Marcus dismissed it. What's there to be afraid of? I'm experienced. Nothing will happen. Didn't we meet on Glacier 4 years ago, too? I tried to explain that tourist spots in undeveloped areas were different, but he still wouldn't listen. On the way back, we suddenly encountered a blizzard. Marcus accidentally slipped down a steep slope and was left dangling from the edge of the cliff. I desperately pulled him up, but the rock shifted and both of us fell. The moment we landed, I shielded him with my body, my head hitting the ice, and I instantly lost consciousness. Later, I suffered a traumatic brain injury and optic nerve compression, resulting in temporary blindness. If rehabilitation goes well, you might regain some vision, but it will require long-term treatment. Hearing the doctor's words, Marcus wept uncontrollably by my bedside, holding my hand tightly and saying, "From now on, I'll be your eyes. I'll take care of you for life. Once you recover, we'll get married. I will never let you down." At first, Marcus was indeed attentive, accompanying me to treatments every day and helping me read documents. It doesn't matter if you can't see, I'm here. Later, my vision gradually recovered, but I still needed regular follow-ups. Marcus began to get impatient. "Can't you see now? Do I really need to accompany you every time? Chloe has something going on. She's not having an easy time, and I really can't get away." Eventually, he even forgot the follow-up dates. "You weren't this delicate before. I've already agreed to marry you. What else do you want?" Marcus remembered everything. He realized that my insistence on a glacier wedding wasn't just because it was where we first met, but also where I had fought for his life, where we shared life and death experiences and supported each other through thick and thin. On the way back, Marcus turned on the music in the car. When he heard the sound of falling again, he suddenly remembered it was my favorite song. In the passenger seat corner, there was a sticky note I had written earlier. Turns out only I remember. Marcus rested his head on the steering wheel and cried loudly. "I'm sorry, Sarah. I was wrong." Chapter 8. After we spent 3 days on Glacier, we returned. Taking advantage of the holiday, we planned to go to City Hall to get our marriage license. At the entrance of City Hall, I was startled to see Marcus. He rushed from the side and grabbed me. "Sarah, you can't go in." Daniel immediately stood in front of me. "Let go." Marcus stared intently. "Why at me? Just 5 minutes. Please just listen to me for 5 minutes." I gently pulled my hand away. Marcus's palm was empty and he staggered. Marcus suddenly dropped to his knees, kneeling heavily on the steps outside City Hall. "I know I was wrong. The wedding, your follow-ups, Chloe, everything is my fault." He tremblingly fumbled in his pocket, pulling out a velvet box containing the engagement ring he had given me. "You said that as long as I looked back, you'd always be there." I looked down at the ring, a bitter smile on my face. "Marcus, do you remember what you said on the day you proposed?" Marcus froze. I said, "I would be good to you for life." I looked into his eyes. But did you do it? What makes you think I need to give you chance after chance? What makes you think I can't live without you? Marcus's eyes reddened and tears fell. I was wrong. I was too confident. No, I was a total jerk. I looked at him with cold eyes. Marcus, some mistakes can't be undone by kneeling. I took Daniel's hand. As I turned to leave, Mrs. Margaret came to stop me. Sarah, Marcus is a scoundrel, but your many years of relationship weren't easy. He truly cares about you. I looked her in the eye. Auntie, do you believe that if Chloe calls, he'll leave right now? Mrs. Margaret froze, then looked at Marcus. Marcus's face was flustered. He opened his mouth, unsure what to say. I gently shook my head. Auntie, you're an experienced woman. You know that love isn't like this. Mrs. Margaret released my hand, feeling guilty, and lowered her head in embarrassment. Daniel and I successfully got our marriage license, but Marcus was still kneeling outside City Hall, unable to get up. Sarah, I didn't want to see him feigning deep affection anymore. So I got into the car with Daniel. The next day, Marcus posted on his social media, "Last trip to Glacier. Consider it a farewell." He tagged me, but I didn't reply. David tried to persuade him. "Are you going to the eloped area? There's a blizzard warning just issued. And you're still going? Are you crazy? You almost died there last time." Marcus gave a bitter smile. "I'm taking a chance. If she still cares, she'll come." David was startled, wanting to persuade him but not knowing how. After all, he brought this upon himself. When the blizzard arrived, Marcus appeared at the glacier entrance. He waited but didn't see me. David tried to persuade him. "Go back. She won't come. Don't risk your life here. It's not worth it." Marcus was persistent and contacted me again. "Sarah, are you really not going to care about me anymore?" Hearing his wronged and sobbing voice, I replied faintly, "Marcus, you're an adult. You're responsible for your own life. But you used to. I used to love you. Now I don't." Marcus was speechless. His hands trembled uncontrollably. I hung up the phone, no longer wanting to dwell on my troubles. Half an hour later, I received a video he had recorded. He had still entered the mountain. With howling winds and swirling snow, Marcus's lips were purple from the cold, his voice trembling. "Sarah, look, we took pictures here last year." In the video, he stumbled into the deep snow and the camera shook violently. Then the second video came through. "Remember, you were right by this rock back then when you pulled me up when I almost slipped." Suddenly, a gust of wind almost made him fall, but he stubbornly stood firm and continued recording. "I know you hate me, but could you just reply to me once?" I silently finished reading and put my phone aside. What difference would a reply make or no reply? Could we ever go back to the past? He said I was childish, but truly he was the one who was childish. The blizzard intensified. Visibility dropped to less than 5 meters, and the hiking warning signs were buried under the snow. Marcus smiled at the camera. "Sarah, look. I've reached the highest point we climbed last time." Suddenly, his foot slipped and Marcus shrieked, falling. "Wait, this ice layer isn't right." The ice cracked, the camera spun wildly, and the video cut off abruptly. The last message read, "Send failed. No signal." My heart skipped a beat, but then quieted immediately. Daniel's large hand gripped my shoulder, and he looked at me gently. "Should we call the police?" The phone had been silent for a long time. Most likely something had happened to him. I thought for a moment. "No." Daniel raised an eyebrow, puzzled. "I thought you'd soften." I shook my head gently. Back when I fell because of him, he first let Chloe know he was safe. Only half an hour later did he call an ambulance for me. He has family. He has friends. It's not my place to call the police for him. Chapter 9. Could you come see him? He keeps muttering your name. No matter what, he got hurt because of you. Despite persuasion, I still refused. When I was muttering his name, none of you heard anything. Forget it. Why prolong the entanglement? The longer this drags on, the worse it is for everyone. The other person was stunned for a moment, then awkwardly hung up the phone. In the hospital room, Chloe came to see him carrying a fruit basket, but she stood at the doorway, hesitant to enter. Her eyes darted. Marcus was weak but felt a flicker of comfort. "Chloe, you're here." Chloe clutched the hem of her dress, her voice sounding aggrieved. Marcus, I don't know how to take care of someone. Marcus forced a smile. It's fine. You don't have to take care of me. Just stay and talk. Chloe looked down, fiddling with her nails. But my boyfriend wouldn't be happy about it. Marcus froze. Boyfriend? Since when? Chloe blinked innocently, a hint of sweetness in her eyes. We've been together for a week now, and he doesn't like me getting too close to other guys. Marcus' heart sank. He couldn't figure out if what he felt for Chloe was love or friendship. He always wanted to take care of her. Her vulnerability made him feel a sense of accomplishment, and she could handle many things independently. She didn't seem to need him much. No, she needed me when she was blind. It's just that I seem to have gotten used to her independence. Marcus' heart trembled, and he suddenly remembered. Chloe sighed beside him. Marcus, the doctor said your leg is ruined and you might be permanently disabled. I need someone who can take care of me. Not someone like you. Chloe stood up, intending to leave. Anyway, we've always just been good friends, right? Images flashed through Marcus's mind. Changing the wedding venue for her, ordering an expensive dress for her, neglecting Sarah because of her. His stomach churned. So that's it. While I was risking her life for me, I was risking mine for someone else. Everyone else knew their partner was most important, but I treated pearls like stones and fakes like treasures. Marcus looked at his disabled leg and gave a bitter laugh. Karma, this is truly karma. Chloe picked up her bag, stood up and opened the door. Marcus, take care of your injuries. From now on, let's meet less often. Marcus sneered. Get out. Chloe's eyes reddened, seemingly very aggrieved. Don't be like this. I'm really in a difficult position. Marcus grabbed a glass of water and hurled it at the doorway. I said, get out. The glass shattered and Chloe fled in fright, never looking back. Marcus' tears fell, and he fiercely struck his ruined leg. 2 months later, Daniel accompanied me to my prenatal checkup. I glimpsed Marcus sitting in a wheelchair. He quickly had his caregiver push him away, not wanting to face me. Oh well, we're strangers even if we meet again. When I received the test results, Daniel hugged me, smiling happily. Daniel and I were about to welcome a new member to our family. Marcus slumped in the corner, his face etched with envy and regret. He understood that the woman who once had eyes only for him would never cry for him, laugh for him, or risk her life for him again. Her future now belonged to someone else.